Comrades of the Presidium, my fellow comrades who are participating in this special session along with me, my most beloved comrade delegates who are participating in the 17th All India Conference of the Students' Federation of India. So far as I am concerned, my reason for participation in this conference is not to give something to you by way of my intervention, by way of my greetings. My purpose basically is to gain some inspiration by facing you, the delegates of this conference, who are representing different battlefields in our country, fighting against communalism, fighting against commercialization of education, fighting against centralization of education. You are not representing the best fighters of the country alone among the student movement. You are representing the best elements in the student community in our country. Therefore, coming and being with you for even a couple of hours would be like recharging our batteries. We belong to the old guard. By being with you, we get inspired. We get more energy to carry forward whatever political and public work we are trying to do, whatever struggles in defense of the rights of the people we are trying to engage in. Due to paucity of time, I do not want to speak at length, though Comrade Neelu was telling me that what is being done in the state of Kerala, in the field of education especially, it would be useful to give a brief presentation. But don't be afraid of that suggestion or whether I am going to pay heed to that, because I know if I start speaking about that, it would consume a lot of time. You, through the course of your deliberations, delegates from Kerala might have told you about some of the initiatives that the only left democratic front government in our country is now initiating as an alternate policy as against what is being done by Narendra Modi government and what is being done by not only BJP state government but most of the other non-left state governments also, mostly. Comrades, I want to mostly focus on the most important tasks that the democratic student movement, which is SFI, has to take up at this point of time. That is what you are discussing. But we have to realize, on the one hand, we have great confidence about our strengths, the correct paths that we are pursuing. And many of our comrades have been well-eyed. Dheeraj, Anish Khan, Abhimanyu and so on. But that is not distracting us from carrying forward the task that the democratic student community has to undertake. That inspiration, that confidence is fine, that is required. At the same time, we have to see the reality also. What is the reality? Far-right forces are trying to gain strength in different parts of the world. Within our country, with the latest election results, the land which gave birth to Mahatma Gandhi, their communal forces are consolidating like anything. Of course, they had setback in Delhi municipal elections. They suffered setback in Himachal Pradesh. But as a whole, we have to realize realistically, objectively, that they are trying to consolidate themselves in a big way. And immediately there is no democratic secular alternative emerging. This also is part of the reality. This is not the whole reality. But when we analyze things dialectically, we should understand where we stand, where the country stands in the present situation. More dangerous is another aspect, which is that the fascistic, poisonous communal ideology is very cleverly made common sense of a large section of masses. Here we should recall the very seminal analysis made by Antonio Gramsci, the great revolutionary fighter during Mussolini's fascist time in Italy. He correctly stated that the exploiting fascistic ruling classes are continuing with their domination, not only with their oppressive machinery. Oppressive state machinery is there. That is very important. But they try to make people believe their ideology as the true ideology or common sense. We have to analyze whether in India today such a situation is emerging in certain sections or not. We have confronted, and with the help of science, we have contained COVID-19 virus. But the virus of communalism, the virus being spread by RSS, that is being spread as cultural nationalism. Two very fine words, culture and nationalism. Of course, Rabindranath Tagore, even during the times of India's freedom struggle, when nationalist feeling has an entirely different meaning in that context, Tagore, in his famous observations, pointed out the dangers of nationalism. Now the dangers of nationalism in its communal, fascistic variety is being experienced in our country today. Here, student community has to play a very important role. Student community is an enlightened community. We have to spread out to all sections of our society. Students are sons and daughters of workers, peasants, ordinary masses, middle class. We have envy everywhere. This practical opportunity has to be utilized to counterpose these very important issues in our society today. There, while continuing with the activities of SFI and taking up the slogans of SFI, study, struggle, providing employment, trying to bring people together, unifying the people. All these important slogans you have evolved, and you are giving that call from the 17th All India Conference. But you are not going to remain as students, and you are not going to remain as activists of Students' Federation of India. That's a painful exercise. After a point of time, you will have to graduate, not only from your university, you will have to graduate in your democratic organizational work also. Some of you will have to join with the peasant movement, some of you will have to join the trade union movement, so on and so forth. So, from this point of view, while continuing with your activities as SFI cadres, you will have to work in the field of culture also. In colleges, in universities, cultural squads are to be organized. I think in some states this is happening. There are democratic cultural organizations But working in culture cannot be left as a task of the cultural organization alone. Every mass organization will have to take it up. Students will have to take up more seriously. RSS, to spread their poisonous communal ideology, they have an organizational approach. What do they say? Catch them young. Among young boys and girls, they have their organization. In some states, it is called as Bala Gokulam, linking with a mythological entity. Bala Krishna, the Krishna, the boy. So these young boys and girls are told they are being like a fancy dress. They are given the dress of Sri Krishna. And on Sri Krishna Jayanti, their demonstrations are being organized. Unconsciously, they are being attracted towards certain ideologies. Student organization will have an opportunity to organize their younger brothers and sisters. School-going children are the younger brothers and sisters of student leaders. So in short, while continuing with the activities of the Students' Federation of India, various other organizational works can also be parallelly taken up by us, because to face this communal onslaught, fascistic onslaught, multifaceted activities are to be undertaken. This is the most crucial task. If we are able to undertake this task, we can make impossible possible. This is the understanding with which we should disperse from here with these few words. Once again, thanking Students' Federation of India for having given me an opportunity to come and face you. SFI Zindabad. Long live independence, democracy and socialism.
From Madivas.